Whatever, y'all. This is Rakaa.
Peace, y'all. DJ Babu.
Representing Dilated Peoples. We're about to jump into the Smokebox right about now. Shout out to our man Evidence. Yeah, Dilated. What up, what up?
He's ready.
Let's do it.
Dude, I don't know how they let us get away with half of the shit we were doing on the radio back then, man. That shit was crazy.
Every Friday night, I was just totally flabbergasted. Every Friday night. I was like, wow, that was amazing.
Class.
We're in the fucking smoke box. My man Rakaa and Babu up in here. Dilated Peoples, we're about to get it lit. What it do? This is another smoke box for BREALTV. Hello, I'm Dr. Green Thumb here with some of my good friends. Introducing first in the back seat, we got DJ C minus Mr. Goodlight. And from Dilated Peoples, DJ Babu.
What's up?
And my man Rakaa.
Peace, peace.
That's right, 2/3 of the squad here, and we're smoking some I don't know on some funky field tips. That's not the name of the strain. It's just I don't know what we're smoking.
It's good though.
So I don't know fire. Shout out to Evidence. Shout out to EV.
Shout out to EV. Hey, I just heard a song that he did with Alchemist, because we had Alchemist in the box and Oh No. And they played me this joint, and the slow flow was like incredible, dog. Like the way he stretches that shit is just phenomenal.
Yeah, he's been on that for a minute, man. He gets in his zone. He's real locked into cadence and flow right now. So
as anyone should be doing this so long.
Yeah, exactly,
now, right?
exactly.
You know, it's a trip because I got to watch you guys like pretty much grow up into this shit.
Absolutely.
And become the legendary MCs and squad that you guys have become. You know, the other day I saw Pete Rock, and I was telling Alchemist this. You know, I asked him how he felt. You know, Pete Rock put up a video of the hooligans.
Oh shit!
Put your hands up.
I remember that video shoot.
And all y'all were in this as youngsters. Like, I don't know, how old were you guys? Like 16, 17 years old at this point? You were a little bit older.
Yeah, I think Ev was probably like 16 or 17 right then, so I was probably a few years older. But yeah. I remember that video shoot was like at a zoo or something.
You and I were the oldest ones.
Yeah, exactly. We're like the elders, the big bros in there holding it down.
But it was a trip seeing like the whole, you know, all y'all, the nucleus of what you guys were going to break off and branch out to do. Because when you think about everybody that was in that video.
That's real. That's
right.
Real.
Seth,
yeah, Shifty Shell Shock from
Crazy Town.
Crazy Town, yeah, exactly.
You and Ev.
Yeah,
DJ AM.
Rest in peace, for sure, AM.
And
then, of course, Scott Conn.
Scotty Conn, and what Alchemist and Scotty go do. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. But, you know, and everybody has made their fucking mark in their respective lanes, like heavy. Like, you know, Alchemist is now not only, you know, a legendary producer, legendary artist.
Yeah.
Y'all, the Dilated Peoples, boy. You know, the way that people put that spec on your name is everything, man.
It's appreciated, man. But you know, we learned a lot coming up at the time we were coming up in the circle that we were coming up in. You know, being especially Soul Assassins, y'all being like big influences on how we approach music, and then watching the shows and getting amped. It was like KRS, Cypress Hill, Public Enemy. There are like certain groups that you study and say, okay, what are they doing? How are they doing that? And the energy. I remember you pushing up with the Typhoon back in the days. Rolled up in the Typhoon. It was like, you know what I mean, back in the day. So yeah, no, it was a crazy journey, man. And you're right. You have been there since even before was Dilated. Shout out to DJ Lethal. Lethal is the one that really brought us into the fold and gave us our first deal look. So yeah, shout out to Lethal, but yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy journey.
It's crazy because I feel like the stuff that, you know, like how you said, you know, students of the game, right? A lot of the you know, first, second, third, fourth generation of hip hop artists and people that love it, they were definitely students of the game. Like you sort of like, you had your handful of groups that, you know, were your go-tos, right? And you studied them like, okay, what is it about them? Like from cadence to bar flipping to the style of beats and like the way that the beats produced with bridges and breaks and all that shit.
Yeah.
It seems like these days you have less students, so you have more cookie cutter generic type shit happening. There are some good songs though. There are some dope young artists. It's just that there's so much of the generic shit that you got to weed through it to find, you know, those gems. But I feel like, you know, some of that study is gone. You know, the bridge that linked one school to another. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. A lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, having your own style, being original, having your real strong perspective on your music was something that was like mandatory, you know, for how we, during, you know, the generation that we were coming out of, like, to stay connected to the generation before you was something that was an honor. You know, we look for, like, when somebody was looking, like, you're like, damn, they know, oh my God, like the people you look up to appreciate you. I think now it's just a lot more access, so it's not like students and culturalists and people that need to fight their way through based on their love for the culture getting through. People see an opportunity to have fun and be creative and make some money, so they're gonna go for it, and
they'll skip the steps.
They don't have to. Yeah, they don't even need to take those steps necessarily. They have different steps that they have to take. You know, they got to navigate social media or whatever it is that they're, you know, whatever's happening. But you know, it was just a different day. Like the people, you know, you weren't even gonna get in if you didn't have the respect of the people before you, and you weren't. If you did get a deal, you weren't gonna have like a real presence. You know, people knew right away, like this is official and this is industry right here. So I think, yeah, it's just that some of that is missing a little bit. And I think as a result, you have people that just come up with the idea, like, let's just make good music. I want to make some fire songs, but they're not necessarily trying to do something different. You know, they just want to be dope. So
let me see what this guy's doing over here and get with it. But, you know, it's crazy because, I mean, you know, it took away from some of the layers that used to exist in the dynamics of a song. When you got all these fucking songs that sound alike.
Right. And
some of them are dope. Again, you know, not all of them are whack, but it's just one of those things where, you know, you miss the layers. But what I've been noticing is that kids are coming, the younger generation are coming back to like samples. Yeah. They're going back to older hip hop music and educating themselves. You know, and some of them are actually getting into the study of what this is. I mean, did you ever, like, what tripped me out the other day, right? We were doing our grand opening in Fresno for Dr. Green. Thanks to everybody in Fresno that came down. But this young lady came and said, "Hey, did you guys know that we in such and such college that she attends, that like hip hop and a number of groups within hip hop are being studied." You know what I mean? They're within the syllabus, and you know, there's actually courses about, you know, studying some of the artists within hip hop, and you know, just the nature of the strength of the communication tool that it is to people. And it's good to see that. Like, it's good to see that they're teaching kids about this shit, you know. What kind of courses we would have to fucking, you know, sort of like, you know.
I think it's necessary because, you know, there is a lot of information now, but there's no guidance, right? You could just YouTube or Google anything. So it's kind of the Wild West in that respect. But I think what affects it most is, like, you know, gosh, I'm dating myself, but, you know, pre-internet era, you really had to get out and hit the pavement. You had to meet people to make a name, to grow your reputation, build a network. I know it still happens in chat rooms and on DMs and other ways now, but, you know, I think that really helped us have a link to the older generations before us, or, you know what I'm saying? And now it's like a bigger disconnect because everything just happens so fast. You could just, I just put my song up at Bandcamp and the next day I'm a star. Like, and so you know, I'd like to think that they're going to go through all the steps. Maybe they go through it in a different order.
Yeah.
I'd like,
or they create new steps.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Because some are creating new steps. I mean, they're cutting the middleman out left and right these days in terms of, you know, putting out independent records.
Yeah,
you know, without any major labels and the red tape, and I love that. But the problem, the flip side of that is that you got a whole lot of fucking records out there that are trash.
Yeah,
guys and chicks that could barely rap.
Right.
They can't rap on beat. And that kills me, like, you know, because that's something that we're taught on day one.
Right.
You got to lock in on the beat, front, back, or right on the money. You got to lock in. And these days, it seems like, you know, some of these cats don't give a fuck about locking in.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me. But, you know, the ones that are actually doing the work, that actually are putting more time into the craft and being an artist than their social media page. Because you see that a lot. Like these cats are like, you know, they put out music, but they're more, you know, more known for the shit they do on social media than they are their actual music, yet they want to be artists.
Yeah, definitely that. I think a lot of it is that it's just so much more, you know, like there's so many more people acts making music, and that kind of creates a situation where, you know, we only have so much attention, and there's so many things fighting for it. I think there's probably more dope stuff than ever out there.
Yes,
but there's the same way that there's always like some special people and a lot of whack people when it came to, you know, whatever it is on this side. There's always way more people that want to do it that don't have the ability to do it at that same level as this certain group of people. So when you have like way more dope, it's going to be that same, you know, relative number of whack, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just
you know
a lot.
What's crazy? You know what I was saying to you on the way up here, Rock, is that when I look at the newer generations, you know, to even compete, you got to be good at like 4 or 5 things.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think like all these younger creatives are getting good at multiple things, and like, who knows, maybe their first iteration they'll be a painter, and then maybe I'll be the rapper later.
Yeah.
And then so that's a kind of a thing too. I think there's a blueprint inadvertently laid down by OGs where it's like, you know, rapping got me into the game, but I went even further when I went and made headphones, or when I became an actor, or, you know, so
branching out.
I, you know, I'm not mad at it, but I think some of them, it's like they're ready to be done rapping when they barely started and go do these other things, you know.
I get, you know, I totally get that. To be good at and proficient at other things, that's an awesome skill, you know, ability to have, you know, like skill sets in different places. You could figure out which one you actually really have the passion for. You might be good at or great at 5 things, but you have the passion for one of them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it lies, is like you got to find where you have the most passion at. And if it's like if being an artist is one of them, like to be a successful artist with longevity and like impact, you got to put all the time into it. And if you want to be a producer, you got to put all the time into that. If you want to be a DJ, you got to put all the fucking time in that. You can't sort of be spread out like you know, people do these days. But I mean, hey, you know, these kids are growing up with different abilities and the way they absorb. So who's to say they can't be great at all those things? Hey, and by the way, if y'all want to watch the rest of this, go to www.BREALTV to watch the rest. Thank you, YouTube.
Got the heart of a lion, soul of a titan, mind of a genius, with fly with the heighten. All your senses are senseless, resistant, relentless. It's what they call you when your grind is endless. Let's get this.
They say I'm psycho, I move weight like lipo. Got a big crib like Michael, out the window with a rifle. My wrist game on light show. I'm backstage with white hoes. I got pre-rolls in that red cup. That's key lime, don't like those.
Got a full pack and we move that. Too aggressive, better pull back. Weight heavy, gotta run ready. My game steady, but you knew that.
I'm too on and my crew strong. Big burn, my clip.